brain development, childhood to adolescence.
The human brain is the central organ of the human body and its nervous system. It is classified into many parts, each influencing a particular movement or action. The brain weighs roughly 1.4 kilos and information travels up to 120 meters per second. The brain is made up of 100 billion neurons. Neurons send information through electrical and chemical signals through the brain. Neurons are a working unit used to transmit information to another neuron to perform a particular function, for example, throwing a ball. Neurons will light up in your brain and then send a message down the spinal cord to the muscles to activate the throwing movement through your arm. The prefrontal cortex covers the front part of the brain and allows for higher levels of thinking and memory. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, left and right. It is a myth that the left hemisphere is only associated with language and more logical thinking, and the right hemisphere is only associated with emotion and creative thinking. However, even though each is more dominant in those areas, they overlap and feed from each other's side. The brain is made up of 4 segments: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. The frontal lobe is located at the forefront of the brain and is responsible for behavioural functions such as theoretical thinking, organisation, and responsiveness. The parietal lobe is responsible for motor skills such as touch, sensing movement, and spatial orientation, and is situated in the front of the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is associated with vision and sight, and it is situated at the back of the head. The temporal lobe is responsible for language and memory. It is responsible for verbal language, listening, and is situated behind the cortex. The appearance of the brain is surprisingly squishy and almost like the consistency of butter. It has a fatty covering and a wrinkled cortex that is used to protect the brain. The brain develops differently in each stage of life, including infancy, early, middle, and late childhood, and adolescence.